27 Hot.
Good day, everyone. This is Pastor Ben of the Benjamin Dixon Show with your daily intelligence brief. J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance is lying yet again. This time, it isn't about Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, eating their neighbors' pets. No, this time, Vance is lying about a man that the Trump administration illegally deported without due process. Vance tweeted that Kilmar Garcia, a Maryland resident, was a convicted MS-13 gang member with no legal right to be here. That statement is false. Kilmar had won legal protection from deportation after a judge ruled that he would likely face torture or death if returned to El Salvador. But the Trump administration deported him anyway. Today, he sits in a mega prison run by Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele, a facility that has swallowed tens of thousands, many without trial or charge. This is not an accident. It is what we call a narrative inversion tactic. It is propaganda, a propaganda strategy where the powerful reframe actual victims as threats in order to justify cruelty. Vance's tweet is not just a lie, it's the ribbon around a regime. It ties together the criminalization of the immigrant, the war on protest, the abandonment of due process, the violation of federal court orders, and the spiritual hijacking of Christianity itself. Kilmar's case isn't isolated. It is a test balloon, a trial balloon. The Trump administration is trying to see what all they can get away with. In recent weeks, there have been multiple people who have disappeared into ICE custody, including Rumeza Ozturk, a Tufts University doctoral student and Fulbright scholar, and Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University graduate and Palestinian green card holder. Neither had committed a crime. Their offense? Speaking out for Palestinian life. Ozturk co-authored a student op-ed. Khalil marched in protest. Both were snatched by plainclothes agents without identification, transferred to ICE detention centers across state lines in violation of federal court orders. Their cases reveal a new strategy that we must name plainly. The U.S. government is testing how far it can go in criminalizing dissent, especially when tied to Muslim identity or anti-war protest. What began with Kilmar is now metastasizing into a campaign to equate activism with terrorism, immigration with criminality, and silence with safety. If they can snatch Kilmar, Rumeza, and Mahmoud today, they can snatch our children tomorrow and use our silence as justification. And now, some are even echoing the state's propaganda by asking this question: why should we care? Black folks don't get due process either. Be sure, my brothers and sisters, this is a strategic manipulation of black pain. It attempts to turn historical injustice into moral indifference, as if the denial of justice to us gives us permission to cheer its denial in others. But we've seen this tactic before, haven't we? From the slave codes to COINTELPRO, from Emmett Till to Fred Hampton, the system has always relied on reframing the persecuted as the problem. What's happening to Kilmar, to Rumeza, to Mahmoud today is the spiritual descendant of the same logic that once hunted runaways, jailed prophets, and bombed black churches. It doesn't stop with the immigrants. It always spreads. Already, MAGA leaders are calling for the impeachment of judges who blocked these deportations. They're declaring war on the courts, the press, the universities, and yes, the church. And while Donald Trump began this strategy, J.D. Vance is perfecting it. His lies are more polished, more surgical, and that makes him even more dangerous. The longer we wait to speak out, the more laws they'll dismantle to make speaking out illegal. Let me say that again. The longer we wait to speak out, the more laws they will dismantle to make speaking out illegal. So this is the call. Do not be silent while there is still time to speak. The first and greatest act of resistance against fascism is to refuse their lies, to speak up for the Kilmars, for the Rumezas, and for the Mahmouds. Here's what we must do. We must name the injustice. What the Trump administration is doing is unconstitutional, and if it begins with immigrants and we say nothing about it, eventually it will get to our doorsteps. So name the injustice. Defend the courts before they are abolished. Speak out for the role of the judicial system in the United States of America. Furthermore, we must understand the psychological and propagandistic war that is being waged against us. They are dividing and conquering marginalized groups all across this country. And if we cannot stand with the immigrants today, we will find that there's no one left to stand for us tomorrow. Finally, pastors, teach your congregants that what Trump administration is doing to the stranger, they will soon do to the prophet. Do not let fear seal your lips while the law still allows you to shout, because silence now is not neutrality. It is permission. Here is your prophetic PowerPoint of the day. You cannot worship a refugee on Sunday and turn around and cheer mass deportations on Monday. This is Pastor Ben of the Benjamin Dixon Show, and this has been your daily intelligence brief, where we analyze and deconstruct the weapons that have been formed against every single one of us, and we give you the tools that you need to fight back.